one or two? 1A or 1B?
Yeah.
Okay. Moment of silence followed by the singing flag, please.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Notice of this meeting was provided to the Westfield Leader, advertised on December 31st, 2015. Notification was sent to the Star Ledger and prominently posted on the Municipal Public Bulletin Board and filed in the Office of the Municipal Clerk Information, informing the public of the time and place according to the provisions of the Open Public Meeting Law, Chapter 231, PL 1975. Please turn the cell phones off or put them on vibrate. Roll call, Ms. Ariano.
Mayor Lombardo.
Here.
Councilman Kukrow.
Here.
Councilman Martin.
Here.
Councilman Matthew.
Here.
Councilman Sarno.
Here.
Councilwoman Tedisco.
Here.
And Council President Pizarro.
Here.
Ms. Ariano.
Regular workshop and executive session of the minutes of the Mayor and Council held on December 22nd, 2015. Reorganization minutes of the Mayor and Council held on January 4th, 2016.
Do I have a motion?
And Mayor, can I just jump in for 1 second? I think we split those up because we had 2 council members here that weren't on the council on December 22nd. So that we split, so we approved one and...
Sure.
Do I have a motion to accept the regular minutes of the workshop and executive session dated December 22nd?
So moved.
So moved, Mayor.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain.
Abstain.
Thank you. I have a motion to accept the minutes of the reorganization meeting of the Mayor and Council held January 4th, 2016.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, communications, Ms. Ariano.
New Jersey State League of Municipalities Mayor's Advisory.
Receive and file.
Union County Board of Chosen Freeholders Ordinance.
Receive and file.
Horry Valley Sewage Authority minutes.
Receive and file.
Monterey Board of Trustees minutes.
Receive and file.
Horry Valley Sewage Authority meeting notice.
Receive and file. I see we have no ordinances this evening. We'll continue on. Council standing committee reports and other reports. Police, Councilman, Councilman Sarno. Sorry.
Thank you, Mayor. Officer Jonathan Pridey was sworn in Monday, January 11, 2016, as Garwood's newest police officer. He fills the vacancy left by Officer Horan. He has begun his required agency training, and when finished, will begin a coach program alongside the Garwood Field Training Officer. Officer Pridey comes to Garwood from the Hudson County Sheriff's Department as a veteran officer with 8 years of experience. Officer Pridey is single and currently resides in East Rutherford. Chief Underhill welcomes Officer Pridey to Garwood and to the department as part of the team and wishes him a long and safe career in Garwood. Best of luck to our new officer. And that's all for my report.
Thank you, Councilman. Any comments? Hearing none. Public Health, Councilwoman Kukrow.
Nothing, Mayor.
Thank you. Streets and Roads Ecology, Council President Pedroselli.
Thank you, Mayor. The DPW has been very busy, and here are some bullet points. They check and treated recurring sewer line issues from routes on a weekly basis and responded to 3 emergency sewer calls. Upon investigation, it was determined that the problems were located inside residential sewer laterals. Cleared the debris from the top of all stormwater drain inlets on the north and south side of the borough in preparation for the forecasted rain numerous times throughout the reporting period. Perform maintenance on miscellaneous public works vehicles and equipment as needed. Perform street sign repairs at various areas within the borough. Completed leaf pickup and all removal from borough-owned properties for the leaves at the end of Spruce Avenue, and were cleaned up by others down at the Little League field. Thank you to the volunteers who take care of that field. I was there. Removed litter, debris, and leaves from the sidewalk on both sides of Center Street at the underpass a numerous amount of times. Removed miscellaneous roadside debris along North and South Avenue. Continue to inspect and perform repairs, preventive maintenance on all snow and the icing equipment. Installed salt spreaders on the 2 single-axle dump trucks in preparation of forecasted inclement weather. continue to install residential permit parking signs in various areas of the borough. Completed major pothole repairs along West Avenue between Pine Street and Myrtle and the 200 block of Myrtle Avenue. 2 tons of hot mix asphalt was used for these repairs. Performed emergency winter pothole repairs utilizing cold patch material at various locations. We also began to take down the outdoor holiday decorations at Borough Hall and on Center Street over by the overpass, and take down holiday decorations in council chambers. Removed additional debris from the brook along portions of the western dead-end block of Myrtle Avenue to allow for positive drainage. Provided emergency de-icing along South Avenue due to the water main break. Also, one other thing is the Christmas trees are now being collected every Wednesday. And on a good note for that, Garwood Christmas trees are now being brought to Fanwoods Recycling Center, which also saves Garwood about $400 a year. Previously, we had to pay to get rid of them, so that's just another good thing out of it. That's all for my report, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilor. Any comments on the streets and roads report? Hearing none. Fire. Councilwoman Sarno. I'm sorry.
I'll pass to Cooper.
It's not a good, you guys have to come more often, that's the problem.
Just got the invite.
It's okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mayor. Just a few things from the fire department. The fire committee recommends the acceptance for the application of David Murroff, 225 Redford Avenue in Cranford, as a member of the Garwood Fire Department, volunteer firefighter, effective December 27th. His name shall be added to the active roster with a 1-year probationary period. We also have some instances of activity, 12 incidents in Garwood for this one. And also, we have a recommendation from the fire committee for a modification of the fees, which Mr. Renaud is preparing the ordinances for.
Will do.
Okay?
Thank you.
And that's all for me, Mayor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any comments on the fire report? Yes, sir.
The only comment I have is that the fire department showed up at my residence just before Christmas, and I just want to say they were fantastic. And getting there promptly and make sure everyone's out and begin taking care of the issue.
Very good. Thank you for those comments.
Mayor, just have a quick question. What was the fees, what were they that are getting recommended to be modified?
For the commercial and businesses, they're gonna raise the fees for fire inspections.
Okay,
So Mr. Renaud already has, I guess he's gonna be drawing up the ordinance. I think this was in everybody's packet. No, it wasn't?
Fire committee.
Okay, so we discussed it with the fire committee, Lou and Jim, so I
Okay.
was okay with this. It hasn't been raised in almost 10 years,
okay,
so I think it's,
right. Sounds very
Beneficial.
reasonable, so
Yeah.
it's inspection fees.
exactly,
Okay.
I'm sorry.
That's no problem.
Okay.
Thank you, Councilwoman. We'll move on. Finance, Councilwoman Tedesco.
No report, Mayor.
Thank you. Buildings and Grounds, Councilman Matthews.
No report, Mayor.
Thank you. Laws and License, Councilman Martin.
Thank you, Mayor. The Laws and License Committee recommends the adoption of resolution number 16-140 for the application of one on-premises 50/50 raffle license and one on-premises merchandise raffle license to be drawn on March 23rd, 2016 at the Westwood, 438 North Avenue, Garwood, by the Union High School PTA. That's my report.
Any comments on the report from the councilman? Hearing none. Recreation, Councilman Martin.
No report.
Thank you. Committee on Aging, Councilwoman Kukrow.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a few things. I did attend the senior club on the 7th of January. I joined the club. It was very exciting, a little depressing, but thank you. They did have a few concerns that I'd like to bring up. They do want their ceramics and their crafts back, so I said I wanted to bring it forth to everybody. At Tina's suggestion, Paulette called up and sent an email to Scott Kessler saying there's a ceramics class that was canceled previously because there was not enough people. There would certainly be enough people in this club. There was about 50 people that showed up that day. Okay, we're still waiting to hear back to see if they're going to be able to accommodate. They also had an issue with wanting to put their schedule on the newsletter that Paulette sends out. Tina did say that it can't be done because of grants and stuff like that. I was wondering if there's any way it can be put on the township newsletter, if there's any way that can be done.
We can look into that.
Okay. They're also looking to expand their membership, so if anybody's interested, it's only $5 a year. It's a lot of fun. A speaker from the New Jersey Lottery came and made a presentation telling everyone where all the trillions of dollars of lottery money goes. I, of course, did not believe it for a second. I would also like to propose a resolution to modify the name of the Committee on Aging to something a little bit more appropriate. They're a little bit, they don't like it, and quite frankly, neither do I. So at the next meeting, maybe we can come up with a resolution that could modify that a little bit.
Do we need that resolution to change the name of committees?
It's not a standing committee, it's not in the bylaws. I think you can just make.
Why don't you and I have a conversation?
Okay.
Okay?
Okay, that would be wonderful.
Good.
And also, I did win a new Monopoly game on the 50/50, so that might make my whole day. And thank you, that's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. Any comments on the report? Hearing none. Mayor's Library Representative, Council President, Petroselli.
Thank you, Mayor.
You get to do it.
Yeah, no.
Very good.
The Garwood Library is pleased to announce the addition of Mr. John Nolan as the newest member of the Garwood Library Board of Trustees. Mr. Nolan was appointed by the mayor to a 5-year term as a trustee. New Year begins with 3 new programs. The first is Color Me Calm. It's an hour of adult coloring to bring out your inner child at 11:30 a.m. on Mondays. The next 2 programs promote family togetherness and fine motor skills. The Parent-Child Knitting Club begins on Wednesday evenings at 7 p.m. The instructor for this program is donating her time and all supplies as well. Fridays at 3 p.m. in January are Puzzle Fridays. It's a new after-school program. Kids and parents help each other to put one of the many puzzles we have collected over the years. And tonight is very popular and always a waiting list is Adult Craft Night. They will be making felt flowers on canvas. On January 19th at 6 p.m., we will be serving popcorn and showing the movie Minions to pajama-clad children. Library would like to remind residents of our many other ongoing programs, including Adult Knitting Club, Toddler Story Time, Kids Craft, Friday Morning Movies, and Lego Club. All these programs are free. Please visit Garwood Library's Facebook page or our informative website located at ucmore.com/Garwood. That is, the website interactive calendar page will provide all the dates and times of these ongoing programs. The Garwood Library is open Monday through Thursday from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m., Fridays from 9 a.m. to 4:30, and Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. That's all for my report, Mayor.
Thank you. Any comments on the library report? Hearing none. Councilman Sarno for the school board liaison.
All right, the school board just had their reorg meeting the same day we had ours. They had 2 new members and 1 returning member. One returning member, Amanda Langston, returned to her pillar. And 2 new members, Kat Patterson and Tracy Rowland, were also added to the school board. The next meeting of the school board will be a week from today at Lincoln School, 7:30. That's January 19th. That's all for my report.
Thank you, sir. Any comments on the school board report? Hearing none. Celebration of public events and holidays. Councilwoman Tedesco.
No report, Mayor.
Thank you. Union County Air Traffic Noise Advisory Board Representative, Councilman Matthew.
No report, Mayor.
Thank you. Administrative Review Committee, Councilwoman Tedesco.
No report, Mayor.
And Historical Committee, Councilwoman Tedesco.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I attended the last meeting of the Historical Committee on January 5th. The committee is continuing to plan a rededication of the Garwood Sports and Recreation Complex. Although the committee originally thought this event may take place on the anniversary of the borough in March, it appears more realistic to take place about halfway through this year, and there is some preliminary communication with the Garwood Baseball League about possibly joining the league's end of the season picnic in June. And this gives the Historical Committee more time to contact the families and other individuals involved in the history of the complex in order to ensure this rededication is well advertised and well attended. And that's all for my report, Mayor.
Thank you. Any comments on the Historical Committee report? Hearing none. Officers report, Ms. Ariella.
Len DeStefano, Zoning Code Enforcement Officer, monthly report, December 2015.
Thank you. Public comment. Is there
Yes, motion.
do I have a motion to accept the report?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to address the mayor and council? Please step to the microphone. And please limit your comments to 3 minutes.
I'm going to limit my comments to 30 seconds. I just wanted
Thank
to
you.
commend Councilperson Petroselli for his report on the DPW activities. I was impressed with the level of detail, but more impressed with the amount of activity that the DPW is engaged in.
They're very busy.
Yeah, very busy. It looks like they're being really efficient about what they're doing. And in my opinion, from my perspective, it looks like the shared service agreement is working really well. I commend you. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing none, we'll continue on. Oh, sorry, Rich.
Thank you.
Mr.
Rick
McCormick,
McCormick, 101 Fourth Avenue. Mr. Petrozelli, you said there was 3 residents with some sewer issues.
Yes.
Are you obligated to tell us where those issues were?
Well, that information I don't have, but it wound up to be that it was on the residential side, not on the borough.
And I question it because it was probably a month or a month and a half ago that the engineer sat here and told us that we needed to do some major work over here. I was just wondering if that had anything to do with that.
I don't think that the ones that I reported on are actually connected to that. That's a separate issue.
Okay. Number 2, I know I received a letter of an ordinance, which I'm very high to raise my hand for, that I agree with the people parking on the streets. When does that go into effect? When does that get mandated?
They started the signs already.
They did start the sign, so it's technically law, but, I mean, really, the
These
signs
signs
need to be up
are
and
everywhere.
it's been started. So I think there's about 200 signs that have to go up. So
So
it's quite a
is there-
process.
It's actually in
but it-
effect, but, you know, we're putting
Is
up
there
the
a
signs.
date that we're gonna start issuing tickets, or is that not something you can tell me right
I
now?
have my neighbor that's out there, I actually printed up signs, and they're putting them on cars, and I'll tell you what, 15 cars are no longer parking in front of his house and on my block. So just a little warning for them.
I like that, but is there a date that they're gonna issue tickets?
I think everybody has to get their stickers first.
No, but the captain is, I think.
Well,
Captain, do you have any input on this, Captain?
We'll start issuing stickers for the cars now, so I'm sure shortly.
Okay, so I can
As
still
far as
within,
an exact date, no, I don't have an exact date.
Okay,
okay. And then I have a third question.
okay.
As the grandfather, and I've got all kind of issues from this side of the table and this side of the table. What is going on with the Little League field? Why, now that my grandson is 10 years old, he has to go to Clark? What is this about? Can you really tell me, so I don't have to hear it from the third process? I mean, what's going on with that?
well, are you asking more about the league itself?
Well, it's like, I guess the field isn't long enough. I mean, I don't know. Is that what the real problem is?
No, there is nothing wrong with the Little League field, okay? There are a lot more issues with that because people spread rumors, but that is a legal-sized Little League field for 12 and under to play on. So I don't know where these rumors get started that the field is not the right size. It is the appropriate size for a Little League team,
So up to 12 years old, they're allowed to play on that field.
yes.
And after 12, they go to, I guess what I was called when I grew up, a pony league is.
Pony League or a Babe Ruth League, Clark does have those leagues.
Okay.
So that's where the kids go, but our Little League did allow 13-year-olds to play, but they just couldn't pitch.
So
because
all
some-
coaches, everybody affiliated with that field knows what you just told us right now. Okay, thank you. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Once again, Richard King, 412 Hazel Avenue. I happen to be a vice president of the Guard Baseball League. Maybe I'll help you over here, Rich. In the past, we were affiliated with Kenilworth in Springfield because the field was under construction and we had a place to go. So Clark approached us and they came back with a 4660, which is Little League standard, has been forever since Little League was incepted. But we're,
Say that again.
4660, which is 46 pitching mound, 60 feet base pass.
Okay.
It's been that way forever. Little League field has always been compliant for Little League rules. Like I've said in the past, Little League can hold the World Series there. We have 200-foot center field, 186, I believe, right and left field. It's always been compliant. There's been a misconception for people that are running for office or ran for office that it is not compliant. I have always stated, it is Little League compliant since the day it was built. Little League has not changed their dimensions ever. Okay? We are now going in with Clark, because the children from Garwood are going to Clark High School. It's an opportunity to use this field a little better, okay? Not doing 50-70 like Kenilworth went to. So we're going with Clark. We made an agreement with them for a short term, maybe a long term, see how it goes. So at that point, whatever happens after this year, we have 1-year agreement. We're going to go on from this forward. And the Little League field has always been compliant up to 12 years old. So if you, if,
I
can talk to you later about the Little League, but Little League field has always been Little League compliant since the day it was built to this day. Bottom line.
That's what I said. Thank you. Thank you.
Anyone else at this point? Seeing none, we'll move on. Do I have a motion for the consent agenda?
So moved, Mayor?
Do I have a second? Okay. Anyone would like to have the resolution deleted from the consent agenda?
I think it was 142, Mayor, and I don't believe from the consent.
The resolution.
42? Okay.
Yes.
Have a motion?
16142.
A motion to,
Wait a minute, somebody has to make a motion to delete the resolution.
Yeah, just take it off.
Completely take off?
Yeah, just remove it from the consent agenda, move it to items deleted from consent agenda. And then somebody move the consent agenda
As
without, as amended.
yeah, okay.
Mayor, I'll move the consent agenda as amended.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Councilwoman Kukrow.
We're removing this?
It's off.
You have to
Okay.
At this
remove
point.
it.
Okay, yes.
Councilman Martin,
Aye.
Councilman Matthew,
Aye.
Councilman Sarno,
Aye.
Councilman Disco,
Aye.
and Council President Petrozelli.
Aye.
Aye.
You don't vote, Mayor. You're getting into the habit. You don't get to vote unless you
Sorry.
apply, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Do
No.
I have a motion to accept resolution 16-142?
So moved.
Second?
Roll call, please, Roxanne.
Councilman Kukrow.
Abstain.
Councilman Martin, Councilman Matthew,
Aye.
Councilman Sarno,
Aye.
Councilwoman Tedisco,
Aye.
and Council President Petrozelli.
Aye.
So we're doing that right now.
Right. Okay, new business of the council or the mayor? Hearing none, I have 2 items. This evening, I'd like to appoint Mr. David Lake to the Recreation Commission, an expired 5-year term, 1/12/2016 to 12/31/2017. As mentioned before, I'd like to appoint Mr. Walter Tucker to the Union County Transportation Advisory Board for the year 2016. Table of claims.
Be resolved, the following claims as approved be and the same are hereby ordered paid and properly signed and verified. And the payment of payrolls as listed is hereby confirmed and ratified.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Councilwoman Kukrow.
Yes.
Councilman Martin.
Yes.
Councilman Matthew.
Aye.
Councilman Sarno.
Aye.
Councilman Tedisco.
Aye.
And Council President Petrozelli.
Aye.
At this point, I'll accept the motion for executive session. Oh, would you please read the executive resolution?
Yes, Mayor. Resolution 16-143, closed session resolution authorizing an executive session for the purpose of discussing litigation on affordable housing and personnel matters and attorney-client privilege relating to the above and in accordance with NJSA 10-4. Closed session meeting open to the public, exclusion of public, subject to the matter whereas it is necessary for the mayor and council of the borough of Garwood to conduct an executive session closed to the public in order to discuss the above listed matter. Now therefore be it resolved that the council of the borough of Garwood hereby moves to go into executive session according to the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act for the purpose of discussing the subject stated above, and be it further resolved that the matters discussed in and the minutes of the closed session shall be disclosed to the public when the reason for confidentiality no longer exists.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Just for the record, there will be, no decision will be made this evening after the executive session. Sign back.